Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday as we chug on along here. So, interesting things coming out yesterday, huh? First off, of course, we had the pipe dream that was the Brunson case that the Supreme Court denied hearing, which doesn't really surprise anybody. But if there's anything good to come out of that, it's to put Washington on notice that the people are paying attention, whether or not, some of the people at least, whether or not they believe it. The case went nowhere. Nobody, like I said, there was the tiniest sliver of hope that anything would ever happen out of it. But there is with anything in life. There's the tiny sliver of hope when you buy a Powerball ticket that you might win. But, when you plop down that $5 or whatever, the chances of you winning are infinitesimally small. The same thing with the Brunson case. But that was over. But just in case anybody didn't hear, because it really didn't get any play in the media, the Supreme Court declined hearing it. It's dead in the water. The Brunsons say they've got other routes to do, whatever it would be. But we'll see if it ever goes anywhere. But when they were asking for some $2 trillion in damages, that was enough right there. I think if they wouldn't have put that in, maybe they would have been taken a little seriously. But no, the government is not paying any individual citizen $2 trillion in damages. But that wasn't the fun one yesterday. The fun one yesterday was going back to reason or example number 8,972,437,012 as to the Democrat playbook of accuse everybody else of doing what we're doing, right? It was funny with all the talk yesterday out of AOC saying, it was fascists that were down in Brazil protesting. Lady, you don't have anything else, okay? If they're not a fascist or not a racist, you don't have any other words. You don't have anything up here. But it was funny. Somebody sent me an email overnight that I guess Inside Edition said the same thing I did. Oh, it looks like January 6th, except it was really a riot. So interesting. But the one that came out yesterday, okay. Now remember a few months ago with the raid on Mar-a-Lago and the FBI going through Melania's underwear drawer and, going through Trump's closets and, Barron's clothes and everything like this, looking for classified documents that they never had. The FBI was in there for hours with dozens of agents searching the house. And they found documents, none of which turned out to be anything. There was nothing classified. So that was the end of the story, and the media kind of slinked off into the corner like they usually do. Thought they had some great scoop, and oh my God, see, he was a bad president and all this one. Look what he's doing. He's a criminal. Yeah, okay. Speaking of criminals, let's take a look at the current vegetable, okay? Now I want to give you this. During the whole Mar-a-Lago fiasco, one of Biden's quotes was, "It was irresponsible for a president to keep documents at Mar-a-Lago." It's his words. Okay. So what happened yesterday? The news broke that documents from when Biden was vice president, okay, now mind you, Biden stopped being vice president 6 years ago. Classified documents were found at the Penn Biden Center, Joe's office, off-premise, that wasn't at the Naval Observatory or anything like that. It wasn't in Washington, D.C. Joe had actual classified documents that he had taken out of the Washington bubble and taken to his personal office. Okay? Exactly what they were accusing Trump of doing. His attorneys that were relocating their offices found these documents before the midterms. immediately notified the National Archives, and everything going on from there. Don't you find it really ironic that none of this made it to the press until now? Until after the midterms and after the new Congress is seated. Do you think felonious criminal activity by a sitting president might have had some effect on the midterms? Maybe, maybe not, okay? It's just extremely interesting for me to see yet another example of the pot calling the kettle black. You know, here you have classified documents by the sitting president that were left there since when he was vice president. Now, remember Trump's comment, I was president, I could declassify whatever I want. True, he could. Can the vice president do that? Nope. So Obama would have had to declassify those documents that Joe kept. So what does this tell you? Either Joe is completely incompetent. That's a stretch. Or Joe's staff, i.e. his attorneys, are completely incompetent. Okay? Because they didn't track where they had classified information. Oh, this was found in a box with other documents that were marked unclassified. Now I'm going to go back, okay, to my time in the intelligence community. And granted, we're going back nearly 40 years at this point, okay? If I wanted any sort of classified document for review, I had to sign it out, and I had to sign it back in. Now, granted, I wasn't the vice president of the United States, but there was tracking on those, that whoever the holding authority was for any sort of classified documents, they expected it back. So if the attorney signed it out, if Joe himself signed it out, why didn't anybody track it and say, oh, let's put it back? Well, he was the vice president. Who's he going to report to? Oh, I don't know. He should report to his president, okay, his boss. But just because you are the CEO of a company, okay, let's compare company and country. It doesn't mean the CEO is not responsible to anybody. The CEO is. The CEO is responsible to the shareholders of a company. President's responsible to the people of the country, whatever it would be. But this is a direct question about Joe's judgment, okay? If Joe did it himself, that would be the better excuse. The Democrats can come out and go, well, y'all knew he's an idiot, okay? Wouldn't you expect him to be this stupid to do this? And everybody go, yeah, it's typical Biden, okay? You know, airhead. But if Joe tries to blame this on his attorneys, then what it comes into question is, how qualified are the people that Joe appoints to work for him? Oh, I don't know. Merrick Garland, Alejandro Mayorkas. Let's think about some of those. What's the qualifications? What's the quality of the person? This is just another example of the incompetence of this White House and the entire Democrat Party. Everything they accuse their opponents of doing, they're doing themselves. And they just keep getting caught. When are the people going to realize that the true enemy of the people of the United States is the Democrat Party? Hopefully before it's too late. Pinball out.